Well, hello, friends. Welcome back. It is Chicago time.
Three, two, one, go!
I am post expo, post checking into the hotel, all the things. It's what, almost 3 o'clock. The expo was pretty insane. So, just packed to the gills with people. So it was very hard to actually kind of got some pictures, not really any videos. So won't be able to share a ton from there. It was just too crowded. Well, pardoname, had to sneeze, so cut that off. But anyways, wanted to go through and just give you an expo haul of all the stuff I got. First off, of course, is your bib. I know the bib is huge to begin with, but there is extra stuff on top for gear check and beer. But that I am in the blue wave, which is the second of 3 waves. Corral H, I think it goes up to L. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember. But anyways, Corral H, blue wave. Outside of that, I should show you the race shirt. If we spin around here, this is the official race shirt. It is a Nike shirt. It is made out of recycled material, according to what they say. Looks pretty thin and breathable. Probably won't be wearing that anytime soon now that the weather has started to turn. But there is that. Aside of that, I did want to go over kind of what else you get first off, your bib comes in this folder, which I think is great. New York does something similar. That these majors protect your bibs. I wish more races would do that. But anyways, here is your gear check bag. Sponsors, of course, in the front. But then this is what comes in your gear check bag, which I think is pretty cool. You have a Dude shower on the go wipe, plus a Dude wipe on the go, just smaller wipe. Got a Cliff bar. This actually I picked up from the Cliff booth, so that wasn't in the bag, but still free from the expo. But you did get the Propel. This one's orange raspberry, powder to dump in a drink. You also have Gator Light, rapid rehydration powder. Some other, coupons and stuff like that. This is a Gatorade sweat patch. Another kind of like single-use thing. It's kind of cool. I've never used one of those. Little small thing of BioFreeze. So that, and then of course even more flyers to, buy stuff, whatever. Probably nothing I'll actually use, but there's that. So Run Disney, if you're listening to this, step up your gear bag game. Outside of that, you also can. The Bank of America, of course, is the title sponsor of the Chicago Marathon. Well, they give away free posters. I'm not going to unwrap it right now because it's sealed, and I'll do that when I get home. But they do get a free poster, so do check that out if you ever run Chicago. Abbott also has a ginormous booth. I took photos there. They give away some stuff. Pretty great stuff there. Outside of that, I did go to the official merchandise, which again is Nike, and I did pick up 2 things. I didn't want to break the bank because there also is finisher merch that will be out tomorrow, and there's other stores like Under Armour and stuff that do have Chicago-specific gear. So I did get the quarter zip blue. They had blue and white. I went with blue. I don't know. White. I like white, but, gets dirty. So I went with the blue. That is the quarter zip. Also, then it says Chicago on the back. The color scheme is not my favorite this year, but I don't know. It's my first Chicago. We'll see if I do it again or not. And then, of course, I had to get the jacket because everybody, everything is coveted by the jacket. There, it's kind of like a deep bluish green, kind of turquoisey color. Again, Chicago on the sleeves, Chicago on there. There is going to be a finisher jacket. I don't know if I'll get the finisher jacket, but it is it's more a blue, the finisher jacket, but we'll see what's available tomorrow, because even the mediums were very limited today, Saturday, at the expo. So there is that. So sizes do start to run out come Saturday if you're coming to Chicago, so be aware of that. Then after the expo, I headed over to the Project Purple meet and greet kind of thing, which was at the View Rooftop Bar Restaurant, which is basically kitty corner from the McCormick Place. It's a really cool place up on the 22nd floor of the, I think it's a Home 2 Suites hotel. But anyways, we did get Nike performance hats with the purple ribbon, which is really cool. Project Purple on the back of that. They had white, and this is like a dark gray. With the dark gray, white and me and hats don't get along very well because of sweat and stuff. So I went with the dark gray to kind of save it. One thing I also forgot to mention, there was one booth selling like commemorative items. They had pint glasses. I don't want to unwrap it right now either, but there's just a clear glass with the Chicago Marathon logo on it. So that was one more thing I picked up. So it really didn't get a lot at the expo, but got some things that I actually would use slash if I can speak, want, that kind of thing. So there is that for now. I am going to head out and go to Michigan Avenue, see how the stores are. I've heard it's been pretty crowded today. I also have dinner tonight, and then of course race day tomorrow. So that is going to do it for now, and we'll check in with you before I head out, or head to bed tonight, I should say. So that is going to do it, but we'll see you later.
Well, good morning, friends. It is marathon day. It's just about 6 o'clock right now. And so far, so good. Sleep was fine. Obviously woke up several times thinking it was, time to go. I also had a dream that I was somehow back home and missed the race. So, just one of those things. But otherwise, getting ready to head out and, get going. Supposed to be kicking off around 8. Easy walk to the start for me, so that's good. But otherwise, we'll see you after. I don't know how this is going to work. We'll see. Race days are always crazy, so we'll see how it goes. But see ya later.
Well, hello, friends. It's done. Chicago 2023. Just got back, changed up, showered, all those fun things. Nothing too crazy. Hung out at the post-race party, had a few beers. The finisher, the one they give to right as you finish, is pretty cool. Custom can from Goose Island. So that's really cool. Outside of that, it was more. There's going to be more to come on the race itself. Didn't hit my goals that I wanted to, which I was okay with that coming in. I figured that wouldn't happen. I actually was on pace for quite a bit of the race to hit my goals. But again, things happen, move on. I think, there's still obviously opportunities for me to better that and
hit the goals that I want to hit. Just training wasn't really where it needed to be to do that. But otherwise, gonna head out. Gonna try to check out the finisher gear at Nike. See what else is going on, and obviously get some dinner because I am getting hungry already. So, but that is it for now. We will check in with you later.
Well, hello friends. Welcome back. Obviously not outside for a run at this moment. But I did want to come in and recap the Chicago Marathon experience. Obviously my video taking was kind of hit or miss given the event itself. And I'm always like, it's always hard, especially something like that. It's hard to really get a good sense, and two, because I'm not carrying a camera. Well, I did carry my phone, but I didn't really carry a camera during the race. It's kind of more of a high pressure, high anxiety event compared to, say, a Disney race, or not to say that those can't be those types of events, but for me personally, Chicago is obviously a little bit more serious than a Disney race, where I may get more filming in. But did want to recap Chicago. Let's just do a full rundown. Starting off, Saturday, took the Amtrak Hiawatha train from Milwaukee to Chicago Union Station. Took about an hour and a half. Then went over right to the hotel. Room wasn't ready yet, of course, which was to be expected, but dropped my bags off and then headed over to the expo. The expo is over at the McCormick Center in Chicago, which is kind of south of the city proper, or south of the race, I should say. But overall, I did end up taking an Uber. I was going to take the bus, however, I just missed the bus, and it was like a 20-minute wait for the next one, or whatever, according to the transit app. So whatever, Uber, it was fine. I think it was $10, $15. I don't know. It wasn't too bad. So, anyways, got there. This is a world major. This is a race with 40,000 plus people. So the expo was definitely busy. Kind of comparing it to my New York. New York is so hard to compare to because it was a COVID year, so things were pared down a bit. Also, New York kind of tries to space people out, having you select a time to visit the expo. But I would say, I obviously don't know what Thursday. I'm sure Thursday was probably the least crowded. Friday, I heard was pretty busy though too. But definitely Saturday morning was a busy time at the expo. And I basically got my bib. There was no lines for bib pickup. That was relatively easy and painless. The lines that definitely though came for the merchandise and the photo ops and stuff like that. Got my Goose Island free beer at the expo. They had some finisher shirts that were pretty cool. Didn't end up buying one of those. There were walls you could sign your name or do whatever, that kind of stuff. The Abbott booth had a bunch of photo ops. I did wait for one there. Also got my free Chicago poster from Bank of America. That's kind of a staple for the Chicago Marathon, as every year they do a free poster. So pick that up. Outside of that, the expo, like I said, I did buy a couple things right there at the expo. I got the jacket and a quarter zip. Don't think I got anything else. The other vendor, like Under Armour, Saucony, Hoka, all those things, they all had smaller booths. Some like Under Armour had some t-shirts, Brooks had some t-shirts, nothing that I bought there. But after the expo, I headed over to my charity meetup, and that was at the View Rooftop Lounge, basically right down the street from the expo. So that was really nice and convenient. They had some kind of appetizer type, like cheeseburger sliders, charcuterie, those kinds of stuff. As well as they did have an open bar, which I thought was interesting given we all have a marathon tomorrow. But I did have one drink and water after that. It was obviously maybe that's kind of what they expect. Not everybody is going to drink much that day. They gave us Nike running hats that were Project Purple. They had kind of like wristbands and stuff all over the place. It was a good time. Got to meet people from Project Purple or other people running. The kind of the views from there are pretty great. That kind of stuff. Then decided to head back to the hotel and drop obviously my stuff off and check out my room because my room was ready. I was staying at the Blackstone Hotel, which is an autograph collection hotel by Marriott. Room was fantastic, king bed. The location, you can't get any better. The hotel was literally right across the street from the start area. Now, they do kind of split you up into, there's I think 7 gates to enter. And they kind of give you a suggested gate to enter in order to get to your corral area. So my gate was 3. So I did have to go down the street a little bit just to get to my gate. But if I was like at gate like 5 or 6, I literally would have been directly across the street. So, it kind of all depends on what corral, your corral situation is going to look like. But anyways, dropped my stuff off. And I do have, my expo hall of sorts and kind of a room tour to show there. Then I went down to Michigan Avenue, checked out the stores there. Under Armour had a bunch of stuff for Chicago. The Nike store obviously the whole store was basically Chicago gear, which like I think I mentioned before, my one complaint about the Chicago Marathon is it was the merchandise. I thought compared to New York, like New Balance had a ton of different items, from hats and gloves and arm sleeves and jackets and shirts and sweatshirts, and also basically with Nike was the jackets. They had shorts. They had one like trucker style hat that I really didn't like. They had just a logo t-shirt. They had a hoodie that didn't really have the Chicago Marathon logo. It just had like a C and the Chicago colors, which I wasn't thrilled with. I don't know. I just thought New York offered a lot more variety in terms of merchandise compared to Chicago. I mean, not bad quality stuff by any means, just I thought there was just more in New York than there was in Chicago. But anyways, went down Michigan Avenue, checked some things out, then had dinner with a friend at the Rosebud, which was basically just down the street from my hotel. So it wasn't too bad. That was pretty nice evening. And then went to bed. Got up roughly 5:45. Left the hotel by 6:15, and was in the starting area. Dropped off my bag for gear check. Kind of hung around a little bit. Checked things out. Not a whole lot to do in the morning. It's not like Disney where there's dance parties and characters and stuff. But it was kind of nice because there's not, compared to New York and compared to Disney, there's not a ton of time waiting around. You're kind of, because I could walk right across the street, it's like you get in and then get in your corral finally and then you're off. So that was really cool. Then the race itself. You start off, basically you go under, you after the start there's like, I don't know, 100 yards or so, and you go under a bridge, and then as soon as you come out onto that bridge, the crowds are there to greet you, and off you go. It's hard to say. I thought New York has absolutely incredible crowds. Chicago had great crowds. I think New York gets a slight edge there because I just think the amount of people. There were areas in New York where you just cannot see like the sidewalk. Like it's just packed with people. And there's some spots in Chicago that are kind of like that too. But I think New York does have the edge in terms of crowd support. But that's not to say Chicago doesn't have great crowd support, because they do. The people really come out for these world majors. Kind of some course highlights. Obviously, you do run by the United Center where the Chicago Bulls play. Chinatown is a big section. I mean, you're going through 29 different neighborhoods of Chicago, so there's definitely a lot to see. Lots of the crowd of support is handing out different things. I will say some Twizzlers saved me. Some lady had like little individual bags of pretzels. That was much needed at that point too. And everything was just really going well. And because this course is very flat, there's very little incline whatsoever. There's, no hills. You're not really, I mean, you're going over bridges, but they're all flat. There's nothing really, it's not like New York where every bridge is basically a giant hill. But things were going great until about mile 20, and then my legs started to seize up, and the cramping started. Mostly in the calves. I did have some weird like groin issues, which I haven't really experienced before. So there was that, but then I kind of switched to intervals. I was basically doing running as long as I could, then walking for at least a minute, and then running as long as I could before it kind of came back. It ebbed and flowed basically through the rest of the race. Mile 25, I decided, since I wasn't hitting any time goals, some lady had Jello shots, so I took a Jello shot. That was, great. It's not the first time I've done a Jello shot during a race. So, and then as we were approaching the finish, I felt good, and I knew I could still get under 4:45. So I basically sprinted the last, 200 to 300 yards just to make sure I got under that 4:45 mark, and we were done. Marathons are so weird because it's like an up and down roller coaster of emotions. There's weird points where you just feel like you want to cry, or there's other points where you're happy and smiling. I don't know. It's all over the place. But I felt, despite my original goals of wanting to PR, which I think I can come back and PR this race. I think I do want to come back and attempt that again. Obviously the training needs to be better though, and this race just, for me, this cycle, the training just wasn't there. In terms of training was there, it was enough to get me across the finish line, just not enough to get that time goal that I had wanted. But one of the cool things I think right after you finish is basically they just hand you a beer right away. From Goose Island, there's special finisher cans. I kind of wish, I saw some people in the Facebook groups had unopened ones. They opened it right away for you. I don't know where people were getting unopened ones. That would have been a cool thing to take back with me. and kind of keep. An empty can wasn't really going to make it, I don't think. So I didn't take back my empty can, but I did drink it. It was a perfect finish beverage. Then I just hung out. They have a 27th mile post-race party, and they're not lying when they say 27th mile, because it is almost a mile away from the finish. But they have DJs and more beer vendors, food vendors. It's where people can just hang out, reunite with their families and friends. So I hung out there for a bit, had another beer or two, and then headed back and got cleaned up and decided to go out in Chicago and celebrate. I did go to first I went to Garrett's Popcorn because that is one of my favorite stops in Chicago. Can't go wrong with Garrett's. The mix, of course. Took some medal photos throughout as I was moving around. And then I went to dinner at Au Cheval, which is kind of I called it a bougie burger place. It's not very big, and I mean, it was just me, so I waited about an hour to get in. It's very busy. They do not take reservations. It is a kind of a renowned place. They've been on the James Beard list for various things throughout time. And there's other people I was hearing walking up while I was sitting there waiting, that were had 4+ people, and they were being told 3-hour waits. So definitely, that's a place you want to go, just think about the time. But they're known for their burgers, especially with the fried egg and bacon, which are an added cost, but I think well worth it. We also got one of their signature cocktails to celebrate. And then that was that. I kind of hung out. I Ubered back. I walked to Au Cheval, which was about a mile from my hotel, which probably wasn't the best idea. But also maybe not the worst idea to kind of just keep the legs moving. But I did Uber back afterwards. Then met up with a friend again for some evening drinks. And that was kind of that. Monday morning, so kind of Metal Monday, the Under Armour does a free engraving over at, I should say Sunday before I went to Garrett's. I did go over to the Nike store and get a finisher. It was a finisher quarter zip. It says a Chicago Marathon finisher on the front. They had that. They had a finisher jacket as well, and a finisher shirt. Thinking I got the other jacket, I didn't need the finisher jacket. So I just stuck with the quarter zip. And then I also got it wasn't a finish, it was just a Chicago Marathon shirt from Under Armour. But fast forwarding back to Monday, Medal Monday, Under Armour does do free engraving on your medals if you are, looking to do that. So I did do that. Kind of comparing that to New York. New York does engraving, and that's a huge thing on Marathon Monday. That one is not free in New York. You do have to pay for that. They also do sell the New York Times there at the same place with all the finisher times in it. Chicago doesn't do the newspaper anymore. They sell a book with everybody's times in it, which I will be getting because I bought the finishers package, which included the book and race photos. So that will be coming when, I don't know, but it's supposed to be coming. So there's that. Took about 15 minutes for the engraving, which wasn't bad at all, given the lines that were there. Definitely a lot of people do it, so, be patient, I suppose. Um, then after that, I headed over. I walked again. Probably not the greatest idea, but I did walk over to the Navy Pier. Took some photos there. I was hoping to have enough time to grab a bite at Chef Art Smith's reunion restaurant there on the Navy Pier, but time was not working in my favor. I had a train to catch. So, and given that I again could have Ubered, but decided to walk back, which wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It did work out okay. But yeah, so then I just grabbed a quick bite on the way back to my hotel to grab my bags and head over to the train station to go back home. One thing I think, comparing the two, New York and Chicago, given that Chicago's so close and I kind of, it was only a kind of a 3-day thing for me, Saturday to Monday, it was a little different in that New York was more of a vacation. I had to fly to New York. I think I got in Friday morning and stayed till Tuesday. I went to Broadway shows. I did the whole New York experience. Whereas Chicago, I've been to before. I've done a bunch of those things already. So this was kind of just kind of an in and out kind of thing. So I think maybe that skews my views a bit on the whole overall experience. I don't have really any complaints about either race, but I just overall experience, I think New York takes the cake for me. But in terms of course, if you're looking to for a race to PR, a race to, really, see what you have, Chicago is definitely more so the race for you than New York is. Now, granted, my PR is at New York, so it is possible, but I think just given the course itself, Chicago lends itself to that more than New York would. I really don't think you can go wrong with either race. I will happily do either again. I do plan to throw my name in the hat for the lottery for Chicago. If I don't get in, I don't get in. I'm not going to fundraise this time, given that I have done it, got that second star. So the lottery would just be, kind of a for fun kind of thing. And it's an easy race logistically for me to get to. Kind of just, it's not like New York where I have to take several days off or that kind of thing. And so it just works out better for me. But I do definitely want to do New York again too. As for the other majors, it's kind of a wait and see. Now we're looking at Boston's the last domestic race. That's a huge hurdle to get into, which I'm not time qualifying anytime soon for that. But I would I would be open to fundraising. I just think it's still a couple years away for me. Berlin is just a hard time of year for me to travel, especially that far and for that long. So that's tough. I would say probably depending on if I can get in or all that kind of stuff, is London may be the next star to cross off. Tokyo is another very hard one to get into, so I don't know. But hopefully it all happens. And by the time I probably do get to those other stars, there may be a seventh that is included as well, as Cape Town and Sydney are both, I believe, candidates to be added. So we'll see which one gets picked there. But that's just kind of a rundown of Chicago 2023. Now we're on to Wine and Dine. We're just under 3 weeks away, which is absolutely crazy to think about because I have my pieces for my costumes. They are nowhere near together yet. So better get working on that. But otherwise, that's going to do it. We will check in with you next time, whenever that just may be.